What's happening, everybody? We're back. We're talking Star Wars again. We haven't talked Star Wars in quite a long time. We haven't talked about it since The Mandalorian ended.
Yeah, it's been a while.
New show.
Yeah, well,
kind of.
Old show, new season.
Old show, new show. Like a mix.
Yeah.
Clone Wars Season 7 is debuting on February 21st on Disney+. The final season, finally, after years of waiting, after it was canceled, and after the Disney bought everything, and so now we're back.
7 years. Crazy. It
That is
doesn't
pretty
feel like
crazy.
7 years. I feel like Clone Wars was canceled like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and Clone Wars was so rewatchable through Netflix and everything that
True.
it just never felt like it really went away. But it's back, and we figured now is the time to give you a recap, like a breakdown, a summary of what happened.
Yeah.
In seasons 1 through 6. If you've never seen Clone Wars or you need a refresher. Yeah, and I think some people have done really good recaps of all the seasons. That's not what we're here to do. We're going to go character by character. We're going to talk about the importance of each character. We're going to talk about their storylines that mattered. We'll show some clips. We'll tie it all in. So we will go through. This will be a breakdown. You will know everything about the main points of Clone Wars if you want to start and if you've never seen the series going into season 7. So we're going to go character by character, talk about the storylines. You can go into the description below this video if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, it might be a little harder. If you're on YouTube, you can click the timestamp next to the character name to just hear about that character, because this is going to be a lot. It's like a barf of information.
Yeah.
We tried to organize it, but if you're watching the new season of Clone Wars, and you want to go see more about Asajj Ventress or Darth Maul, click the timestamp and you can just learn about that section. We'll keep this as kind of like almost like a encyclopedia, a video encyclopedia.
Yeah.
We'll talk to the ties to Mandalorian, because there are a lot of ties to Mandalorian.
A ton.
The upcoming season of Clone Wars, if you were a fan of Mandalorian, you haven't seen the Clone Wars, or if you're just, again, a fan of Clone Wars, there's going to be a lot that will relate to the Mandalorian. I'm not saying the Mandalorian's going to be in it, but and he probably won't be.
No, I mean, yeah, unless they did an animated version of him as a child getting rescued by Death Watch.
It's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
However, it does have a lot to do with what we're going to see in the future of The Mandalorian.
And they'll definitely reference Season 7 of The Clone Wars in future episodes of The Mandalorian. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that'll happen.
And we will get to the big reason why towards the end. Let's start it out. The character that we want to talk about first is Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka was the big new character added to the Clone Wars movie, because before it was a series, it was a pretty crappy movie.
Yeah, really bad. It's like 4 bad episodes tied together.
It's just not very good. Obviously, the series takes place in between episodes 2 and 3. Ahsoka's introduced in the movie. She's Anakin's Padawan. She was discovered by Plo Koon.
She's super annoying at first.
Very annoying at
Calling
first.
Anakin Fly Guy all the time.
Yeah, very, very annoying.
Hey, Fly Guy.
He calls her Snips.
Yeah.
That's his nickname for her. She was discovered at a young age by Plo Koon, who's that very disgusting-ass looking... Just gross.
Looks like a bug or something.
It's just a disgusting looking Jedi.
But he's got like human skin color. Everything about him gross.
Yes.
I'm not a Plo Koon guy.
And he has like a regular... like, the fact that he speaks English...
Yeah.
Is weird to me.
Yeah, no, he should just speak like...
noises. Yeah.
Of the outside Jedi, I'm a Kit Fisto guy.
Yeah, and the Kit Fisto's in the series. Yeah. She's kind of a mix between Obi and Anakin a little bit. She's got the same draws as Anakin in terms of being a rebel, but also adheres to the Jedi Order, at least during the series, a lot more like Obi-Wan. And she's kind of got a bit of both of them, but she spends most or all of her time with Anakin, because she is Anakin's Padawan. Served as an advisor. This is an extra story. We'll get back to Ahsoka in a minute, but she served as an advisor on the planet Onderon, I believe is how you say it. I'm awful at pronouncing things.
I don't know.
I'm awful pronouncing things. I'm going to say Onderon. Lux Bonteri was a love interest of her. That's why I want to bring this up.
So she's like a teen. This is like, teenage, I don't know, her first crush or something.
Yeah, she had draws to Lux Bonteri, but she never actually acted on it. So that's how I can explain best. I think the bit of Obi and the bit of Anakin in her. Yeah. It's kind of bitchy, but she does stay true to the code.
Jedi can't marry. Jedi can't have these personal relationships.
Yep. We also meet on that planet Saw and Steela Guerrera.
The love interest that Ahsoka had, which was kind of like they were just friends, not really love interest. She never acted on that. He had a crush on this girl, Steela Guerrera.
Yep.
She dies. It sends everything, afoot, and then Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera's story arc starts with this event that Ahsoka's involved with, and Saw Gerrera is a name that should sound familiar if you watch Rogue One. That's Forrest Whitaker's character.
Yeah. Save the rebellion!
Yes, always struggling to get his lines out. So we'll get back to Ahsoka. Not much off the top there. Just know Anakin's Padawan. That's a big thing. Her storyline, it's funny, going through all these, the villains are maybe the most important thing to talk about.
Yeah.
The villains
Like the Maul stuff,
have the most meat, right?
True.
Because you know Anakin, you know Obi-Wan, though they have a little extra things mixed in. But Ahsoka's main storyline for Season 7 comes later in the Clone Wars series, so we'll get to that at the end.
Also, big thing about Ahsoka, I think she started off, a lot of people were like, who is this? She's annoying. How would we never hear about her in the movies? Which is still a complaint, somewhat valid.
Yeah.
But as the season has progressed, as the series has progressed, people love this character. She
Yep.
is one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars fandom, I would say. When you go to Star Wars Celebration, everyone's wearing the orange and blue with the
Yep.
white stripes. Like, Ahsoka people love this character.
And
Except for that one guy.
That one
Fuck
guy.
that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy who just hates the fact of whatever. We won't give him any shine. But she had her voice in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, true.
Ashley Eckstein,
Yep.
who plays the adult version of Ahsoka Tano. Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. the future Darth Vader. If you don't know
DV.
that, I'm kind of surprised you're watching this. Takes on Ahsoka, and basically she becomes his little sister.
Yep.
He's very reluctant, but then grows to really enjoy her. And he's reluctant throughout because it's Anakin, right?
Yeah.
There's always good and bad with him. We see Anakin and Padme fleshed out throughout the series a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
see
what the series is. It's fleshing everything out better.
the series fleshes out Obi-Wan and Anakin a lot better, and not in ways of I didn't know that about them.
No.
There is that with Obi-Wan, but
True.
it's more of a personality and friendship. You get why they joke, you get why they like each
and
other.
you fall in love with Anakin as a good guy. You you really want to root for him.
Yeah, exactly. So it really helps you appreciate Anakin more, and it makes you appreciate Hayden Christensen a little more, the characters in prequels, so it does help there.
Definitely makes me appreciate the prequels more.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. Because when you know the actual, and we'll talk about some of them because they're on the list, some of the very real life type war things that they mixed into this cartoon show, it makes you appreciate the grand scale war way more.
Yeah, and they always talk about Anakin and Obi-Wan, their adventures on the side, and people always say, well, why don't we see that in the movies?
Yeah.
This is the that. Clone Wars is what we don't get to see, we just hear them talk about. Padme works with a lot of senators, talking to separatists, so we do see her do some of the senator things, but
Some boring shit.
she has a couple main episodes, where she goes on some adventures, but she's a little more in the background than Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin becomes a lot more powerful throughout the series. You see both the good and the bad, and this is kind of a weird one. I want to get this one out of the way, because I don't think it'll have any impact on the new season, but it's kind of an important thing that you miss if you don't get to watch Star Wars Clone Wars, or you may have forgotten about. There's a planet called Mortis, and a planet I put in quotations because
It's weird. It's two pyramids on top of each other that open up in the middle.
It's a place called Mortis. It's quote unquote the origins of the Force are there. There's the daughter, the light side of the Force, the son, the dark side of the Force, and then the father that balances them out. And Anakin goes there. And the father needs the prophecy of Anakin to be fulfilled. So
these are physical characters.
Physical characters, yeah.
The father, the son, the daughter. It's very the father, the son, the Holy Spirit. It's very holy and all of that stuff, but they're actual people that he talks to.
And the father needs Anakin to fill his shoes to balance out the son and the daughter.
He basically wants Anakin to abandon the war, abandon Padme, abandon everything, and just become the father of the Force.
While Anakin's there, he sees Qui-Gon.
Yep.
He sees Qui-Gon as a Force ghost. And sees a vision of his future self from the son, the villain. And you see actual moments from the movies.
Yeah.
You see him choking. You're Breaking My Heart, I think, is one of them.
He's choking Padme. You see the lightsaber ignite in front of a class full of younglings. You see a Darth Vader helmet forming smoke. You were my brother, Anakin.
Yep.
You see that.
The father's...
It's as weird as Star Wars has
it
ever
is. It's
gotten.
the weirdest Star Wars shit there ever is.
It sort of works in the Clone Wars.
And it's just kind of important to Clone Wars because Anakin does see the vision. While he does get his memory wiped, you see there's an even greater thing with the Force that
totally
is it
shows
shows
the most we know about it, I guess.
It shows that there's so many more undiscovered things with the Force.
Yeah.
So might dabble back into that. We don't know. Probably not, because the father does kill himself and the son is then killed by Anakin. But Anakin at one point does see the future, but his memory is wiped because the father's like, my son's not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that out of you. All right. So
remember when The Rise of Skywalker was rumored to be a movie about the son of Mortis? As if that would ever happen.
As if they would base it completely. So again, Ahsoka, Padawan, Anakin, more fleshed out, good and bad both ways. You see kind of the struggle that he deals with, and it becomes even greater later on in the seasons, towards the end of season 6 as well.
Yeah, his fall to the dark side is once again just more fleshed out.
Yep. Clone Troopers. You learn a lot more about Clone Troopers. Little things, though.
Yeah.
I want to name 3 big ones, though. Rex, Fives, and Fox. Rex is also in Star Wars Rebels. He's a captain in the 501st Legion under Anakin.
The main clone trooper, I would say.
He's the main clone trooper in this series. A storyline of someone under Captain Rex is someone named Fives. He watches a Jedi General Tiplar, get killed.
Yep.
And it turns out, after Fives does some investigating, that there's a chip in that clone trooper's head, and that the chip eventually will control the clones to enact Order 66, which is the order that all of the clones kill the Jedis.
Yeah.
It's the one that the Emperor says, Commander Cody, execute Order 66. So if something is faulty with the clone, and Five figures out that there's a grander conspiracy, that they're eventually going to be used to kill the Jedi.
Some Watchmen shit.
It's crazy shit. And as he is telling Rex and Anakin later on in the series, he's killed by a different clone trooper Fox.
This was my guy growing up because he had the cool red stuff, and on the packaging it would say Commander Fox. I was like, this guy's awesome.
Bad
the
dude,
series
though.
fucking ruined him.
Bad dude, though. Commander Fox, I think could be in the upcoming series because he is still alive. But he kills off Fives and doesn't totally end the conspiracy because we do know Captain Rex in Rebels removes the chip from his head.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that towards the end. If we'll see that happen, I assume yes, in Season 7. So that's the big thing with Clone Troopers. Captain Rex is the one to remember, but Fives kind of uncovered this conspiracy about Order 66. He was killed off by Fox. Obi-Wan, the biggest thing with Obi-Wan in Clone Wars is his relationship, probably.
Yeah.
And his connection to Mandalore. He has a love interest. Satine, Duchess Satine of Mandalore, who rules Mandalore. He never acts on it, but he does say at one point...
They were like formerly connected, like I think when they were growing up, kind of a Han Solo, Kira type deal.
Yeah, nice Solo reference. The rare Solo reference.
I really reached for that.
We are going to talk Solo, though, because there are some Solo ties. He would have left the Jedi Order to be with Satine, but he did not, obviously.
When he tells her, I would have left the Jedi Order for you, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, so that's the big thing with Obi-Wan, is that Obi-Wan did struggle with that as well. And that also makes you appreciate Obi-Wan. Not that we didn't appreciate Obi-Wan.
Dude's got a dick, man.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's like, you understand, too, you're like, he dealt with love as well.
Yeah.
He just dealt with it in a different way. Let's talk about Mandalore. Mandalore, a big deal in Clone Wars, but even more mainstream now because of The Mandalorian.
Definitely.
I think people are more aware of what Mandalore is. That it's not just the Boba Fett guys, right? Like, we're no longer just calling him
Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like...
Because before, it's like, it's that Boba Fett-looking show. Now it's like, it's the Mandalorian. People know Mandalore. People get it.
Yeah.
So Mandalore in the Clone Wars is a neutral planet, not aligned with either side. Padme is seen there negotiating with Satine, trying to get them to the good side. It's a very cool planet.
Kind of a mix between Naboo and Coruscant.
Yeah, it's an elegant city.
Yeah, it's very elegant.
Again, Duchess Satine, who is at one point, and still kind of throughout the series, is a love interest of Obi-Wan, even though he doesn't act on it. Death Watch tries to take over Mandalore. Death Watch is led by Pre Vizsla and Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is the sister.
Voiced by Jon Favreau.
Yep, that's right. Pre Vizsla is voiced by Jon Favreau. And Bo-Katan, the sister of Satine.
Yeah.
And Death Watch, if you watch Mandalorian, should sound familiar, because Death Watch is the group that saves the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, when he was a baby.
Yeah, fact.
When they fly in at the end of the season, it is Death Watch.
Those blue Mandalorians.
The blue Mandalorian. Death Watch develops a lot from this part of the series. Pre Vizsla wields something that you also have seen in not only Rebels, because it shows up in Rebels as well, in Mandalorian, the Dark Saber.
Spoilers.
So the Dark Saber that you see at the end of Mandalorian, Pre Vizsla holds. That's a very big thing with Mandalorians. You can go much deeper in the lore of the Dark Saber. If you want to do that, I would just keep.
We did that. Go watch our episode 8 recap. We went into the history.
Final episode of the Mandalorian recap we do talk about the Dark Saber, but just know that Dark Saber is involved.
Yep.
And will be definitely still involved in season 7. Now let's get to the main baddies that we all know: Darth Sidious, General Grievous, and Count Dooku. Kind of the same story for them.
Yep.
In the Clone
Pretty
Wars
similar.
and leading up to season 7, you get a lot more Dooku. Just no Christopher Lee, rest in peace.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but
I love the Dooku like Clone Wars aesthetic.
Long ass, like
the long
Jay
chin.
Leno ass chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Grievous, A lot of Grievous. Big old bitch in this series.
See, you wrote that down on the.
I did. I literally wrote Grievous is a huge bitch.
I said Ricochet shot, Jeff. You know my nephew loves Grievous. Every time I see Grievous, I'm like, oh, that's cute. My nephew loves him.
You get a lot more Grievous, though, and I think it also, again, I'm going to use the word appreciate a lot, because you appreciate a lot more of these prequel characters, and I think you do appreciate Grievous more.
Yeah, the Lair of Grievous episode where there's the... Is it Kit Fisto's Padawan? That's the little fucking Admiral Akbar guy?
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Yeah, you get to see that he has more heads and chest plates and all this shit.
Yeah.
So you really flesh out Grievous. But man, that guy's on the run every episode.
He is.
He has inside info on every attack. He has inside info from Darth Sidious on everything. He's still running away. Then there's another new bad character. I'm not going to say bad guy because it's a woman, and that's Asajj Ventress. That's Dooku's apprentice. Not a Sith Lord, because there can only be two. So it's kind of just like an extra on the side. Like,
it's their way
just
of
in
being
case.
Like, we need another person in here, but I don't know.
It's a bending of the rules.
Yeah. It's the Freebird rule if you're a wrestling fan.
She's Dooku's apprentice. Sidious does not like her. And Sidious tries to have Dooku kill her.
Yeah.
Not successful.
No, Dooku, she kind of flees. She gets away.
She flees to Dathomir to find Mother Talzine and the Night Sister. She's a Night Sister.
Super creepy people.
Yes, very creepy magic. A lot of connections with the Force and magic. Dathomir is the home of Darth Maul. That is where Darth Maul comes from. That's where him becoming a Sith Lord happens. So as Asajj Ventress, the new character we learn in Clone Wars, seeks revenge on Dooku, Dooku looking for a new Darth Maul. A new version.
He's literally like, can you whip me up one of them new Mauls?
Yeah, give me another one of those Maul characters. And he does get one in Asajj Opress.
Pretty much, yeah.
Darth Maul's brother. And what...
He's cool looking. He's like Darth Maul, but gold.
Yeah, and while Dooku believes as though Asajj Opress is his apprentice now, really, Mother Talzine is going to help control and influence Asajj Opress.
Yeah, it's like Poison Ivy when she fucking gets into someone.
Yeah, as an inside job to exact revenge on Count Dooku. But again, Asajj Opress is Darth Maul's brother.
Bigger than him.
Much bigger.
They're like, check him out, he's fucking Darth Maul, but he's stronger.
Yeah, he's just a bigger version of his brother.
Does he have a double-bladed, right?
He does. He's told to kill Dooku under Talzine's influence. Doesn't happen.
No.
Comes back, and then is told to find Darth Maul. Big moment in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Where you hear...
Controversial when it happened. I remember people were livid.
Very controversial.
Yeah.
Because Darth Maul, big cut in half.
Yeah.
And at that point, we thought he was dead. Yeah, so Asajj Opress goes back, told to find Darth Maul, who is alive. Finds Darth Maul. Big-ass robotic spider legs.
And he's fucking crazy.
You don't really see it in the Clone Wars, but he basically falls down and he ends up in some sort of trash planet, I believe is canon. I might be mixing that up. Correct me in the comments.
Right. I think you're right.
And he ends up with these big spider legs.
Well, I know he uses his hatred
of
Obi-Wan to stay alive. That's the whole,
Yep.
How did he stay alive? Well, the whole thing about Sith Lords is they could cheat death, right? We saw it happen in Rise of Skywalker. You just gotta sort of accept that, listen,
Yes.
this guy survived. I know how crazy it is to believe, but I promise you it'll be worth it because the Darth Maul that everyone said like should have been around in the whole prequel trilogy, this is him. He's around in the Clone Wars and he's
It's
awesome.
a bit of it's honestly it's a retcon.
It
Let's
is,
be honest.
yeah. It's pretty much like
They worked it so
they
it
shouldn't
isn't.
have killed him off. People loved him. He'll sell fucking toys.
They worked it so it isn't because they never went Darth Maul is dead.
No.
Like they never said this. So I hate the word retcon.
Yeah,
But
it's sort of what it is.
It's sort of like that. So Maul's alive.
And he eventually gets real legs too. As soon
Yeah.
as he ditches the spider legs, I'm like, all right, we're good.
He gets the real legs, or he gets really big robotic legs. Mother Talzine fixes them because he's going crazy when Savage
his horns
meets him.
grow.
Yeah.
Like the more he's going crazy, the more his horns grow. He kind of becomes like untamed. It's crazy.
The Night Sisters are eventually killed by Dooku. Mother Talzine is on the run. Darth Maul is on the run as well. Same with Savage. Same with Asajj Ventress. God, the names are too fucking similar. So they're all on the run. They're gone. They don't kill Dooku. The Night Sisters are dead. Darth Maul is alive. Now Maul teams up with Death Watch.
Yeah.
Big moment in the franchise.
Huge connection.
He teams up with Pre Vizsla, who has the Darksaber. Maul forms the Shadow Collective, which eventually morphs into Crimson Dawn.
Yep, which we've seen in Solo.
Which is, that's the bad guys in Solo.
And that's why he's around in Solo. I know people are I still get tweets from people that are just now watching Solo on Netflix, and they're like, wait a minute, when does this take place?
So if you've seen Solo and never seen Clone Wars, and you're like, how the fuck is Darth Maul alive? You do understand if you watch Clone Wars.
Yep.
So he forms the Shadow Collective with the Black Sun, the Hutt clan. I'm going to talk about Jabba in a second. And the Pike Syndicate, I believe. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Pike, right?
Yeah.
Which I do believe we see the Pike Syndicate in a preview for Season 7. So they're back as well. They stage a attack on Mandalore to try to overthrow and get Pre Vizsla in command.
It's very much Spider-Man Far From Home. Yep. How Mysterio is like, oh my god, this thing's attacking. Let me swoop in and save the day. That's what Death Watch does.
So Death Watch saves the day.
They plan a real terrorist attack, and then they're like, we swoop in, we saved it. Guess what? Mandalore probably does need to be, we need to pick a side here. We need to be, what do you call it, radicalized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they succeed. Death Watch is in control. Pre Vizsla becomes Mandalore, which I believe is how you say it's spelled Manda 'Alor. That's like the leader of Mandalore.
Yep.
Killed. Darth Maul is like, fuck this.
Kills him on his throne.
Yeah,
with the Darksaber.
With the Darksaber. Darth Maul wields the Darksaber. Very cool scene in the Clone Wars. It's like, I set, like at that point you're like, I set this shit up.
Yeah.
I'm the ruler. I was cut in half for 12 years? I think 12 years is the amount.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 16. Is it 12 or 16?
So
it's either 12 before or 16 after.
There's a 10-year jump to Attack of the Clones from Phantom Menace, and then there's a 3-year jump to Revenge
So it's about
of the
12
Sith.
or 13.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 12 years. Tough. So he kills Pre Vizsla, assumes leadership, has a Darksaber. Bo-Katan and Death Watch, a lot of them rebel against Darth Maul, and they flee. So Bo-Katan is good again.
Yep.
She went from good to bad to good. Because they don't like being under rule of Darth Maul.
Darth Maul also finally gets like a bit of revenge on Obi-Wan because while he's on Mandalore, as he has the throne, he kills Satine with Obi-Wan there. It's definitely one of the more somber, sad moments from the series.
Sidious now, Palpatine himself, the Emperor, arrives, kills Savage Opress, and fights Darth Maul and captures Darth Maul.
And he fucking tortures him with the
tortures
lightning.
the shit out of him because Palpatine's
very much shades of him frying up Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Palpatine / Sidious is like, I'm not messing with this guy. This guy's got robot legs.
And he's like, how the fuck are you alive?
He has smaller robot legs when he gets captured, by the way.
Yeah.
His robot legs become gradually
they go
smaller.
from AT-AT Walker
big.
legs to fucking regular ones.
They look. Everyone will remember this reference. They look like the Walker legs from Avatar.
Oh yeah.
Everyone will
Classic.
remember that reference.
Yeah.
Maul. This does not happen in Clone Wars. Maul escapes prison. So in the time between Clone Wars and Rebels, when we next see Maul, we see Maul in Rebels. We don't see this, but in canon. And I don't do a lot of these in this recap, but I'm going to say it because it's relevant.
This is also due to Clone Wars getting canceled pretty much.
Yes.
I think they probably had plans for Maul in the final season, and then it got canceled. Then they transferred those plans to Rebels. It's kind of a mess.
So he escapes prison, Maul does, which we might see in Season 7, and Talzine is killed by Grievous.
Yeah.
Mother Talzine with the Night Sisters. So that whole storyline basically wraps up.
I would say we'll definitely see Maul escape prison in Season 7.
Yeah, I would assume.
We saw him and Ahsoka face off in the trailer. Mm-hmm. They know we want to see that.
Maul is big time. It's like they're going to show us how he gets out.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that we had Savage Opress, Darth Maul, and Asajj Ventress. After the whole thing with the Night Sisters, they were gone. They fled.
Yep.
Savage is dead. Darth Maul is captured. Asajj Ventress, different story. She teams up with someone. Let's get back to Ahsoka Tano. This is towards the end of Clone Wars. Ahsoka is framed for the bombing of the Jedi Temple. There's a bombing that takes place. She's framed. She's arrested.
It's crazy.
She's thrown in jail.
This is some real life shit. There is a terrorist attack bombing on the Jedi Temple. Ahsoka's framed for it. They have the hologram of her choking a Jedi. I can't believe that this went from a kid show in season 1, which clearly it was in season 1.
It was a kid
people
show.
Were it's hard to get through. It's too childish for me to we're talking about framing for terrorist attacks. This is the plot
killing
of
on the throne.
Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah. So she teams up with Asajj Ventress, and she even says I can't believe I'm teaming up.
An unlikely duo.
Yep. To prove she was innocent. And then she ends up proving she was innocent. She's expelled from the Jedi Order. Prove she's innocent. It's another Jedi.
They rip the rosary beads off her head.
She doesn't grow a rat tail. That's why. Yeah. Barriss Offee. I don't know how to say her name. I think that's how you say it. I always forget. She was the actual Jedi who was the bomber. So then they apologize. Plo Koon's involved with that as like, we're sorry to Ahsoka, like she was framed, like we've done her wrong. And she's offered to come back in the Jedi Order. Says no.
No way. I'm not coming back. I've got some pride, she says.
Yep, sees the corruption. She was put on trial by the Republic. It was obviously a very embarrassing thing for her. Padme defended her. Anakin helped come save the day. Tarkin, actually.
Yeah.
Tarkin
a young
puts her on
Tarkin.
trial. Very young. At that time, I guess they thought he was good. Tarkin puts her on trial, and again, denies the option to return and abandons the Jedi Order. Very much fucks up Anakin.
Yeah.
He's very...
Which, boom, explains Episode 3, when we see Anakin Revenge of the Sith, he already doesn't really trust the Jedi Order.
Yep, he's really not in the Jedi Order at all.
Which is a perfect thing. It's like how Rogue One makes A New Hope better. Like, the Clone Wars
Yep.
makes that movie better, because when that movie came out, I think there probably was a sense of, like, why does Anakin just hate the Jedi all
Yep.
of a sudden?
This makes it...
Because he felt, mistrust with them before they even said, we're not going to allow you the rank of Master.
And now you see, you're like, oh, well, his Padawan was wronged. And he believed, like, he fought for her. He was the one
Totally.
who's like, stop this. She's innocent.
It's like a sister.
Yeah.
He knew.
So very disappointing for him. Asajj Ventress, her story wraps up with the Clone Wars. She eventually becomes a bounty hunter, sacrifices herself because she's actually recruited by the Jedi. She fights with Quinlan Vos. This happens in a book. And she gets killed, sacrifices herself trying to kill.
When does she get killed in timeline? Like
Dooku.
before Revenge of the Sith?
I don't know the exact timeline of when it
Probably,
happens,
right?
but I would imagine it does because of the Jedi. So Asajj
Would have been
out of
cool
the
if,
picture.
if she was left in the picture and we could have seen her in Mandalorian.
Still might see her a little bit. You never know.
True. I'm saying like a live action.
Oh,
Imagine
and
that.
live
That'd be
action.
badass.
She grows hair too. It
Yeah.
just looks weird. Yeah. This goes to another character. These are kind of the last couple characters I want to go over.
Yep.
Cad Bane may or may not be in season 7. So let's talk about Cad Bane. Cad Bane is basically the Boba Fett of the Clone Wars.
And he's fucking awesome too.
He is a bounty hunter. He's very cool. He has a southern accent.
Yep. He wears a big hat. He's got a great look.
He's a cowboy.
Yeah.
He's a cowboy.
Everything about him. This is when I said skip to the first episode of season 2. The first 3 episodes, actually. That's the whole arc. That's his first appearance, and it's one of my favorite arcs in the whole show.
He's got I do declare. He's got like a very...
Yeah.
There's 2 southern accent characters.
It's
I want to get
awesome.
to the next one in a minute because the other southern accent character is
Yeah.
one of the most obnoxious things from Star Wars, and I love it. He actually gave the plans to Barriss Offee to bomb the Jedi temple. He had like the layout for it, so that's how this kind of ties in.
He's very much rooted. He's a bounty hunter,
Yeah.
but he's rooted with the Sith, the Palpatine. We'll get into.
He's the main bounty hunter. He captures Force-sensitive babies at one point for Palpatine, brings them to Mustafar. Sounds familiar? Force-sensitive babies?
familiar.
Interesting. Little baby yo.
Because I believe when he does it, it's to open the Jedi holocron, but who knows? I mean, if they're stealing Force-sensitive babies,
Stealing Force-sensitive babies.
you don't fucking come for our yo.
This is the other character with the southern. I call him Cajun the Hutt. If you've seen HBO's Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, yeah.
He's Baby Billy.
Yeah.
Zero the Hutt.
Yeah.
Zero the Hutt is the uncle of Jabba the Hutt, and Jabba the Hutt hires Cad Bane to go find and free Zero the Hutt. Also, Jabba has a small child.
Yeah.
Named what's the exact? I forget the
Stinky.
Stinky. They call him Stinky. Their real name is Rhoda, but it's Stinky in the movie.
And yeah, so the movie, which kicks the whole thing off, basically has the plot of The Mandalorian, where it's like, save this baby.
Yeah, it's Stinky the Hutt, basically. So Jabba has Cad Bane save Zero the Hutt. Zero's in the series for a while. Zero is eventually killed by Cy Snoodles.
Yeah.
This is irrelevant to season 7, but I have to tell this story because Clone Wars dives so deep into Star Wars. Cy Snoodles kills Zero. Cy Snoodles is the lead singer of the band from Return of the Jedi, the one that they CGI'd her lips.
The long lips, yeah.
And she is part of the band called Ever Orbis and his Galactic Jizz Whalers.
The Jizz Whalers. That's
Because
real.
George made in Star Wars a type of music like jazz called jizz.
Jizz. Do you think when he made that, did they call that jizz? Did they call sperm jizz back then?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
That's how deep Clone Wars gets. You meet a Cajun accented uncle of Jabba the Hutt who's killed by the lead singer from the musical performance in Return of the Jedi.
No way Jabba knew that when he hired her, right?
Had to think.
Or did he? Did he know it? He's like, fuck my
Maybe he
uncle.
did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. A lot of cool bounty hunters in this. So Cad Bane's story wraps up along with an undercover Obi-Wan, actually, while they're capturing Palpatine.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan goes undercover, like changes his voice and shit. And that's the last we see of Cad Bane. Cad Bane vows to exact revenge on the Jedi and Obi-Wan.
And we know
or
that
Kenobi.
like in the original season 7 concepts, he was a big part of it.
Yes.
Those are very public, so they're not going with all of those anymore. They're kind of changing things, but I think he's going to be a part of season 7.
We don't know. So again, Cad Bane, we've seen with Boba Fett at some point. There's Robbie, you mentioned that there was some pre-visualization work done for Clone Wars Season 7. They kind of have a confrontation. Actually, the original Season 7, Boba was going to kill Cad Bane.
Yeah.
But so they do
badass.
have a bit of like a mentor type thing going on there.
I hope they still do that.
We'll see. We'll see. And then again, it wraps up where he's captured. That's the last we see of him. Yoda's is kind of the main storyline to wrap up Season 6. Yoda sees Qui-Gon as a Force ghost and is confronted by Force spirits, 5 Force spirits.
And this is the first time Yoda ever sees a Force ghost in his life.
Yoda learns about Force ghosts and kind of learns how he can become a Force ghost. He's confronted by Sidious and Dooku. It's kind of a crazy battle.
He fights a version of himself, kind of like he does in Rise of Skywalker, kind of crazy, kind of badass. I'm not a big Yoda lightsaber guy. Yoda fighting, it's
a little better animated.
It is, yeah.
So that kind of wraps up Season 6. Yoda's the main thing at the end there. And the end of Season 6 basically goes right up to Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
2 other characters I want to mention. One we may see, one we definitely won't, but I got to mention him. Hondo Ohnaka.
Yep.
Hondo is a very big part of Star Wars lore now. He's in Rebels. He's a pirate. He's a Weequay space pirate.
Like a pirate.
And we've seen that alien in Mandalorian. And we've seen it in Return of the Jedi. They're by the Sarlacc pit.
Yes.
They're pushing in fucking Luke and Han and Chewie. He's become very important. We may see him. He's a pirate. He shows up now and then. And then Pong Krell. Pong Krell's a Jedi who takes over the 501st Legion when Anakin has to go away to Coruscant. Pong Krell is the same species as Dexter Jetster.
Yep.
He's just a diner owner Jedi, basically. Yeah. If Dexter Jetster was a
motherfucker
Jedi,
too.
He was an asshole.
Yeah.
He basically was using the clones to kill them. He was putting them in war to get them to die. He hated them, and they killed him. They were like, "Fuck you!" They didn't even put him on trial. Like, yeah, you're dead.
Big moment for the clones.
And they shoot him. All right, so recapping main characters. Anyone from Revenge of the Sith is basically in their spot.
Yeah.
Where they are for that start of the movie.
Yep.
Grievous on the ship, Palpatine captured. I assume we might see a little bit of Palpatine being captured.
Yeah,
There's potential,
probably, yeah.
Because the Season 7 is going to take place during Revenge of the Sith and the lead up to it. Because Season 6 kind of ends right about when it's going to start.
Yeah.
So we will see a bit of an overlap.
I think we will see the Palpatine stuff because we see Anakin with a pregnant Padme, and Revenge of the Sith opens on that, so it's...
We'll get to some speculation on that. So anyone for Revenge of the Sith, you know where they are. The 2 main characters I want to talk about, again, Ahsoka Tano, abandoned the Rebels, abandoned the Jedi.
Yep.
And then Darth Maul, captured but alive. And Mandalore, we don't know, but Mandalore is very important with this next season. All right. Extra characters, little Easter eggs.
Yep.
Anything that are
some
extra.
fun stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of fun things in Clone Wars. Captain Rex is actually in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. This is a thing where I remember it was like, people were like, could this be him? Like, could we make this canon? And I think eventually
they were like, yeah,
sure.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think George did it, but George was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Yeah, Rex
the guy with the white beard.
Ahsoka can be heard in Rise of Skywalker. We already mentioned that. Kyber crystals are a big storyline at a couple points in the series. Kyber crystals are the key to the construction of a lightsaber, kind of the heart of a lightsaber. It's what binds them, keeps together. I feel like we see Kyber crystals at the end of Last Jedi when the lightsaber's broken in half.
Yeah,
okay, that
we
is
see the
Kyber
crystals
right?
broken in half, which led to a lot of speculation about a double-bladed lightsaber.
It was originally the Holy Grail for George Lucas. That was going to be like the thing that drove the original trilogy. He changed it, obviously. And then you can... I was looking at canon and where this is in canon. At Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities in Disney World and Disneyland, you can see Kyber crystals.
Oh, wow.
Kyber crystals. May hear that again, actually, though, because I wouldn't be surprised because we know that Ahsoka has different lightsabers in Rebels, so Kyber crystals, keep them in mind. We see some Geonosians at some point, zombie versions of the bug.
Yeah.
We see the Queen at one point. Cool. Again, I mentioned Jabba the Hutt and Stinky, his son. Rota, I believe his name is. Aura Singh and Bosk. I mentioned we saw Bosk, the bounty hunter, who was in Empire Strikes Back. We see his species a little bit in Mandalorian as well. Aura Singh, we saw her in Phantom Menace on the side of the pod race track.
The ponytail.
Yeah, she's a very famous legend character brought into canon. She's in canon as well, or in the main trilogy. She's in Phantom Menace. She cameos in that pod race. She was apparently killed by Tobias Beckett, played by Woody Harrelson. She was referenced in Solo.
I like that.
It's the most I've ever referenced Solo, by the way.
Yeah.
I forget a lot about Solo. We see Mace Windu, see Plo Koon, Kit Fisto you mentioned.
Yep.
Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, we see them as well. Chewbacca.
Yeah, weirdly, Chewbacca.
Young Admiral Akbar.
Which, once again,
Wearing a hat.
Chewbacca never said to Han Solo, like, when he was like, oh, I don't believe in that hokey religion, like, oh, no. It's cool, buddy. I fought along the greatest Jedi warriors of all time. I saved Yoda's life. He's on Dagobah right now.
It's too much of an explanation. He's like, I just don't have time. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, you just got to forgive it, I guess. It's like, oh, Chewie, cool.
And lastly, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar's in this a
lot of
decent
famous
amount.
Jar Jar moments.
Yeah.
There's a very famous Jar Jar episode very early on.
Yeah, there's a few Jar Jar episodes.
And they make Jar Jar kind of a real dipshit in this.
Yeah.
They feed into the fans.
Yeah.
All right, Season 7. Let's talk about Season 7. We're going to go down kind of the main beats of what to expect and what's been teased. Connections to Revenge of the Sith. The trailer for Clone Wars Season 7, you actually hear a line from the movie, Mace Windu saying, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Yeah, classic.
So that's a scene that takes place in Revenge of the Sith and Season 7. So there is, for sure, major overlap. You're going to see...
give me that.
I love that.
Feed me direct scenes from the movie.
You're going to see scenes from the movie in Clone Wars. You see Anakin...
Fucking remake the trilogy as a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
Why not?
You have the budget now.
You see Anakin with Padme as she's pregnant. As we know, Revenge of the Sith, very early on, Anakin learns she's pregnant. So this obviously takes place after that. It a little bit looks like she's wearing the same thing that she dies in. Anakin's wearing the same thing throughout the entire movie,
Yeah.
which Jedi must smell so bad. They must stink.
It's weird that George took, like...
They're
He
monks.
made the thing where Obi-Wan was wearing what the people on Tatooine wore to blend in, and then he was just like, well, I guess that's what all Jedi wear from here on out. Like, I don't know. It's weird that they wear robes.
So I don't know if she's wearing the same thing, but it looks a lot like that. But she has these things on her hand. I was kind of inspecting it that she doesn't have when she's being choked by Anakin. So it looks similar, not totally sure.
Like, imagine if this season ended with the fucking battle on Mustafar. All right,
It might.
continue, but that would just be so crazy.
Mandalore. The Siege of Mandalore is the biggest storyline in the new season.
Yep.
Because it ties into Maul, ties into Ahsoka.
Ties into the Mandalorian.
This is big. The Siege of Mandalore takes place during Order 66. So when Anakin's killing the Jedi, Ahsoka is going to be with Rex and some other troopers, while a lot of them have their chips activated. So this is why we assume that Rex has his chip turned off pretty early on, at least before the Siege of Mandalore. The Siege of Mandalore will be taking place while that happens. Like,
and
all that
Ahsoka,
happens together.
Are you saying Ahsoka's going to be there, you think? Or
Ahsoka will be at the Siege of Mandalore, you assume, when Order 66 takes place. Because Siege of Mandalore happens as Order 66 takes place, but we know Rex is in Rebels, so he has to have that chip out at some... Like, the chip is going to be out.
Yeah.
And Rex and Ahsoka, I would imagine when you watch the trailer, are going to stand off against a lot of people, because you actually see Ahsoka at one point standing up with lightsabers, 2 sabers, and you see what looks like Rex right below her.
Yep.
A young Rex.
That'll be awesome.
You hear this... By the way, and don't confuse this with the Great Purge. The Purge of Mandalore, a different thing. That's teasing the Mandalorian. That's where they lose all their Beskar, all that shit.
Yep.
That's with the Imperials. That's later on during the original trilogy. This is the Siege of Mandalore, which takes place during the Clone Wars. Moff Gideon references the Siege of Mandalore, played by Giancarlo Esposito in The Mandalore. This happens in the last couple episodes. He says the songs of the Siege of Mandalore. He talks about the weapons, the same things that happened, how they got taken down many years ago. Bo-Katan expected to return. She's going to be back as a part of Death Watch, like the rebel version of Death Watch. And you're going to see a lot of connections to the Mandalorian and pre-Mandalorian things. Maybe she could be the armorer. I actually like that. If there's one big connection, because you're just not going to see Din Djarin, you're not going to see Pedro Pascal's character, any of that stuff. But you could see Bo-Katan maybe is the armorer. You might see a couple of the characters.
I think that'd be cool. I don't know how old she would be timeline-wise, because knowing how old Obi-Wan was at the time of the original trilogy,
Bo-Katan was younger though,
True.
so it's possible.
But she does fuck up those stormtroopers. I don't know. They would
It's-
have to like make sure it's the right. I know whoever does the voice is pretty young.
It could be Sabine as well. People said Sabine is much younger.
True.
She's in Rebels. So
True.
I think that is the most likely thing we'll see connection to. But Mandalore, a big part.
We'll see more connections from Clone Wars Season 7 to Rebels than we will The Mandalorian, I think.
With the exception of Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah.
The Siege of Mandalore is going to be something that we hear about, you imagine, in The Mandalorian going forward later on in the year. So this is our first time we actually get to see it.
Yep.
Because this does take place in the Ahsoka book. I haven't read it, but I know it takes place in the book. Like, there's a lot of discussion about that. And this is going to get fleshed out even more in the series. Darth Maul, he's back on Mandalore, we see, in canon. Darth Maul is back on Mandalore. The Shadow Collective breaks him out. And he faces off against Ahsoka Tano with the Darksaber.
Yep.
You see while he is on Mandalore. Pretty cool.
It's going to be
He
awesome.
has a Darksaber in the trailer, right? I'm not
Yeah,
going
I
crazy.
think so.
He does. Also,
Maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
how long has he known about Order 66?
Yeah,
That's
but
a
he
big
has
question.
known about it.
Savage Opress, when he finds Darth Maul says this quote, "So it began without me, the Clone Wars." He's very aware of what was supposed to take place.
Yeah.
So you assume a while. Now we are going to find out how much did he know? How much did Palpatine clue him in on? Because we know that he does know. He was told a while, kind of halfway through Clone Wars. Ahsoka, again, on the run, on a new path. She's going to be with Rex, set to face off against Darth Maul. She's a big part of the Siege of Mandalore. Captain Rex, he'll be back. Again, we mentioned with Ahsoka and the clones. When will Rex remove the chip that enacts Order 66? As we know in Rebels, he mentions to Kanan Jarrus and the rest of the Rebels that, like, I did not kill any Jedi. I removed my chip. He points out his scar. We learned about the Bad Batch. They're introduced for the first time.
Yeah.
They were teased in, like, the pre-work. Because, again, you can watch the original Bad Batch episode before they canceled it. It's not done.
No.
It's like pre-work on visual effects. It's like a really crappy MS Paint version, basically. But they're defective clones who can
It's a
do
really
things
cool
differently.
concept. Yeah,
right?
they're defective, but they have heightened abilities that would be like
They were
that
big,
other clones would
badass
want.
armor.
Yeah,
So we'll see them. The clones,
super soldiers. They're super soldiers. Sounds like.
Yeah, Rex and Tenet and the 501st Legion. They have their helmets painted like Ahsoka's face, basically.
Awesome.
It's very cool. So they team up there. Cad Bane and Boba Fett, we mentioned. We might see more of that. The unfinished, so Bad Batch unfinished. The Cad Bane Boba Fett storyline was unfinished as well. So we might see Boba.
I
We
hope
might
so.
see Cad Bane. I'd be shocked if we don't.
Yeah.
Got to tie it in a little bit. And then one
Or
more.
if you want to just fucking keep Cad Bane alive and bring him into live action.
Yeah, exactly. Cad Bane's awesome. I think he's open to be kept alive. I think kill off the old idea of killing him, let him live,
Yeah.
bring him into other things because people have mentioned maybe he's going to be a Mandalorian. Who knows? Kanan Jarrus. So Kanan, voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr.
I don't know
Forgot
what name
that.
I was going to pull out there, but it wasn't that until I got
forgot
Freddie
that.
Prinze Jr. He plays Kanan Jarrus, who during the Clone Wars his name is Caleb Doom, I believe is how you say his name.
Yeah.
D-U-M-E or Dume, or I believe it's Doom. Caleb Doom, who his master was Master Depa Balaba. And you actually see during
What a
that scene.
ridiculous name.
Insane name.
Balaba.
You see him during that scene in the trailer where Mace Windu says, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. You see young
His master.
Kanan
Yeah.
on the side, potentially next to his master. So we might meet a Rebels character at a very young age.
Yeah.
When he's learning to become a Jedi. Exhausting stuff. That was the most
It's like
exhausting
when
thing
they were
we've
going to
done.
put young Han Solo into Revenge of the Sith. What a bad idea that would have been.
Terrible. Don't you see the Falcon at one point launch
Yeah, you
off
do.
and attack the clones?
You do.
That's a lot of stuff. We're going to put time codes below if you want to go back and just go to certain characters, because I think this is a tough thing to digest in one sitting. Like, I think
Totally.
if you want to relearn about a character, click the time code, go back to that character, learn a little bit about their backstory, anything you want to see. Because I think that's all we can cover about what we might see.
I'm craving, like you said, a lot of the Revenge of the Sith crossover.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be so cool if they remade a lot of that movie on the Clone Wars scale, because this should be the grand finale that is the most epic thing in the world. And if it puts us like at the Revenge of the Sith starting point, it's not as epic as like, let's show fucking everything. Let's show
Animation
how
different
things-
too.
Yeah, true.
But I
Animation
agree.
looks cool.
And we don't see a lot of Obi-Wan in the trailer. Really don't see much of him at all, if I recall.
Yeah. I don't need a ton of Obi-Wan to be. Like,
I think
Obi-Wan.
Ahsoka is going to be the main focus. The
I
Siege
want
of
to see
Mandalore.
more Ahsoka, Maul, Anakin than anything.
And we're going to learn where Maul goes, because Maul does pop back up. Like,
Yep.
spoiler alert, He's alive after this last season.
Yep.
So is Ahsoka.
Maul's alive
They're both in Rebels.
till pretty much a second before A New Hope starts.
Yeah, basically.
Like, yeah. As soon as Maul dies, the fucking crawl went off in space.
Yeah, when Maul dies, Obi-Wan turns and can see a young, or just Luke. He can just fucking see Luke.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of connections that are going to take place between Revenge of the Sith, the Siege of Mandalore, and learning the next step in the Ahsoka Darth Maul thing. We'll see some Anakin. We're going to see him turn bad, I imagine.
Yep.
This. Maybe we'll see him end on Vader. What's your prediction? How does this end? What's the last thing
it end?
we see here?
Does it end midway through? Is there a good, like, midway through Revenge of the Sith point? Like, him going to
Could you see
Mustafar?
set up Obi-Wan, maybe?
Probably, like...
Set up the Kenobi show? Maybe even though I know they're rewriting stuff, so maybe we don't know, but...
Probably not because of the rewrites, but I think they end it on the attack on the Jedi Temple. Anakin's gone to Mustafar. Padme's gone after him. We end on Ahsoka.
Interesting.
That's my
Because again,
guess.
Order 66, Anakin killing all the younglings takes place during the Siege of Mandalore. So the wrap-up will be after that. And I imagine we may not see something as crazy as the Darksaber, because that was a nuts reveal in Mandalorian, but we could see...
And it's tough timeline-wise to reveal things now. You know what I mean? Because, like, Revenge of the Sith is like, hey, guys, remember us?
It's a matter of where...
We're the actual finale.
That's the big question, is where's Ahsoka and where's Darth Maul at the end of this series?
Yeah.
All right, we tried our best. It's a lot of stuff. Again, I would go below. Go below, click the links, and you can jump to certain points in the video to learn things. Also, thanks for watching. In the comment section below, let us know where you want to see the series end. What do you want to see most from Clone Wars Season 7, the final season? Every Friday, I almost said morning, not a chance. I got to edit
Not
the
a
videos.
chance.
Every Friday evening, after a Clone Wars episode drops on Friday mornings, we will recap and talk about its connections, some Easter eggs. We know Dave Filoni's going to want to infuse some Easter eggs into this shit. So we'll dive into that. So make sure you like the video if you're on YouTube. Subscribe. Give us everything you can possibly give us. Hit that bell icon.
And you know what else I'm excited for? We'll probably get some sequel trilogy Easter eggs and references in
Probably.
Clone Wars.
You are correct. I would agree.
Which we never got before. So cool.
I would agree. So again, bell icon so you know when videos drop. Subscribe. Make sure to give a like. Give us a thumbs up. Don't give the thumbs down. That's lame. That's some dark side shit. And then in the comments, let us know where you want to see the old series go. How do you want to see it end? We'll be back doing these for every single episode. Again, reminder, if you want to dip through this whole thing, click in the description below, and you can click each character name, and it'll jump you to the point to where you can learn more about them. For Robbie Fox, we'll talk to you for Episode 1 of Season 7 of the Clone Wars.